be nice to Eric or Eric won't be nice to you. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
That's the best tagline we've had in a while.
This one's got some good ones. Welcome to episode 219 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Katie.
And this week we are talking about 1989's Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, not a sequel, with our special guest, Tony Two Fingers himself, Brandon Perras-Sanchez.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
So this is a movie that I had on like my watch list for the podcast for a while. I had seen it previously, and Katie and we were having a conversation like a week ago. Katie was like, "Oh, blah blah blah, something about this, like, gonna pick this Phantom of the Mall movie," and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And I'd reached out to Brandon maybe like a week prior, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to come be on the podcast?" And I sent him a list of movies, and it just happened to be one of the three. He was like, "Oh, this sounds sick," was Phantom of the Mall. So pretty perfect timing. What everybody general thoughts on Phantom of the Mall before we like fully dive into it?
Fun 80s trash. I remember renting this as a kid and really liking it, and then watching it now, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? I mean, it's fun.
It had an unexpected kung fu fight, which fucking rules. It makes the whole thing worth watching. And also it has
a snake.
Pauly Shore listed as Buzz Yogurt Clerk.
I am fucking here for the snake coming out of the toilet. I'm a sucker for like 80s mall horror movies. So this is my shit, I think.
Very, very niche.
Also
genre.
For some reason all of them being shot in like the same mall, like this and Shopping Mall. This is the exact same mall, so
it was the only one that closed down in the 80s.
I feel like there was some Schwarzenegger action movie that was shot here too, if I remember correctly, but
Commando.
Yeah, has the mall scene.
Just perfect. But this mall should just be a historical landmark, except I'm assuming it's probably gone now.
As long as Sleuths is still open.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing about these, is trying to like gauge whether any of the stores were real store names or like ones for the movie where they just like placed a sign over it or some shit, but I think they're all real.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely a KB Toys in the back, and then Sam Goody, obviously. There was one that they showed a few times called like Miller's Corner or something that I had never heard of. But other than that, I don't think the clothes store I had heard of either. But I liked to see the KB Toys.
It's just there's ones where it like they like some of the stores you see, like I wish like I had time to have written some of them down, but like you'll see one, it'll just be some name, you're like, come on, that's some shit like The Simpsons would have came up with. What's happening? Like, this has to be fake. I feel like there was like a restaurant in there called like The Rough Shots or some shit.
Well, the main girl worked at Sleuth, which seems like a really weird name for a restaurant.
Yeah, so last night because Arrow's streaming site has this on it, and it has like Arrow puts up all their bonus features on there too, which rocks.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
And so I listened to the audio commentary with the director, and like he was talking about how, well, number one, like the guy that was kind of talking to him on the commentary, just like most of the commentary was them talking about how this dude like had so many people that were like their first movies, like fucking this is Pauly Shore's first movie.
That's amazing.
I think the one of the guys in this, I forget his name, like which character he was, but he's from like, he was on like Melrose Place and did like a bunch of kind of like big TV shows after this, and this was one of his first things. I guess he did Doom Asylum, which had like one of the first roles from like one of the women from Sex and the City. Like, I guess Allison Brie was in something he did. It was like her first role. Because he did, I guess he did, after this, he did Scared Stiff and Doom Asylum. And then, I guess he did like a fuck ton of like Tales from the Dark Side and Friday the 13th TV episodes. And like ended up just casting like this like ridiculous amount of people that went on to be like big names. It's pretty interesting. That was also like 80% of what they fucking talked about in the commentary. I was like, oh, maybe I'll like learn something cool about this movie. And it was just a lot of like, what was Pauly Shore like to work with?
Right.
Which also I feel like that would have been the same question for me. Of like, tell me everything about Pauly Shore.
I feel like it's exactly like you would assume.
Well, he talked like
working with Pauly Shore.
It's really interesting watching him in this because he's like they talk about in the commentary where like the guy that's like not the director, I can't remember his name, but kind of like keeping everything on track or whatever. And he was asking him, kind of talking to him about like what it was like working with Pauly Shore, and he was just like, it's interesting watching him in this because he's like, I feel like Pauly Shore could pull off like a drama if he wanted to, because I think most people only know him as like the MTV kind of like ridiculous character from the 90s, but he's like really good in this. And it's weird seeing him when your only experience is like Biodome and Encino Man, and seeing him being like very like laid back in this instead of fucking the Weasel.
Yeah, he's also still like delivers his lines in a way that like I'm wondering if some of his script was improvised just because of the way that because like he still has some of his humor in it that like we all grew to love, but he's not wacky at all. He's just like very kind of like stable, for lack of a better term, but it kind of like works really, really well in this movie because this movie is fucking wacky. Like, I watched this on Shudder. I just was like having one of those days where I was like, I don't know what to watch. The title alone, crazy. So I was like, I'll just like throw it on. It can't be that bad, right? It's so wacky. Everything about it just seems like it shouldn't work. But then when you like put it all together, you're just like, that was a masterpiece. Watching it the first time, you literally cannot predict what's going to happen next. And then this was my second time watching it. I still enjoyed it a lot, but obviously like the shock value. I will never, ever get over the cobra scene in my whole life.
That's
oh my God.
One of the scenes they talk about in the commentary, like, because they kind of talk about a little bit how this was, it wasn't like a movie the director like wrote and wanted to like direct. This was just kind of like a hired job for him. And I think it was like the first thing he directed. And they were kind of talking about like the script, and he was like, yeah, like for the most part, like we shot everything in the script. And he's like, but the snake scene, that was me. I added that. I was like, yeah, take credit for that. That shit rocks.
100%.
Yeah, this was fun. It's not great, but it's a totally like fun, goofy 80s horror movie, and it's just I like the whole fucking like Eric's Revenge part of the title is so baffling because the first time I watched it I was like, was there a first Phantom of the Mall?
Is this
like,
a
am I missing
sequel?
something?
Yeah. So confusing.
Also glad I didn't do what I wanted to do when Brandon said the 3 movies and just be like, oh yeah, we're doing Ouija Geist, because I feel like Ouija Geist has to be pretty fucking terrible. Especially compared to this. It was basically, I was looking at it, I was like, alright, this are slugs. Which I already know.
Yeah.
So good.
Slugs rules.
Perfect film.
I agree.
Alright, well, before we kind of like dive into the plot, I feel like it's been a while since we've had like a guest that wasn't somebody we've
Shane?
somebody we all previously knew. So Brandon, what was kind of like your first foray into like horror?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I used to be like really, really afraid of horror. I actually had to go to the doctors for my Freddy Krueger issues, and got put on like just Benadryl to like get me to sleep. Yeah, and then like but I used to read like a lot of like folklore mythology. Kind of worked my way into like urban legends, which kind of, you know, as you keep following those lines, you're gonna end up reading like horror novels and horror stories. A lot of them borrow from those tales and those stories and urban legends. Just kind of worked my way into there, and then me and my stepsister started like kind of watching kind of like the cornier ones, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and things like that when we were like 4th and 5th grade. And it kind of like that kind of bridged me into actual horror, because like Killer Clowns was not scary. So that's kind of like my gateway film. But mostly a lot of literature is what got me into the horror.
Oh yeah, I feel like I know Kit and I have talked about a lot, like Kit being wildly freaked out by like blockbuster movie covers. Like,
oh my god!
Walking by like, what was it, The Dentist 2?
Dentist 2, yeah. Fuck that. That shit's horrifying. I never wanted to go to the dentist as a kid.
I still don't want to go to the dentist.
Gonna put metal shit in my face.
That mirror cover was always great too. That hologram, that was freaking out too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like movie covers never like really did it for me. But I was one of those kids that like I was like, okay, I'm legitimately terrified, but I still I'm gonna watch this because like it looks cool, but also I'm gonna have fucking nightmares for weeks after it. So it's probably not a good idea.
Oh yeah.
Like my big thing, that like my big real memory, first thing of like anything horror related, was my parents watching the It miniseries as it aired. And I'd gone to bed or something, and I remember walking out in the living room literally at the beginning when Pennywise pulls the kid into the sewer. And being like fucking terrified. I was like 8, I think, when it aired.
You're scared of people from Boston.
Yeah, and then it turned.
Come on down into the sewer, kid.
It was that, and then literally the next thing was Child's Play. So not a great twofer for like a child.
Jaws got me as a kid too.
Oh, like I'm still absolutely like fuck the ocean.
Yeah.
I had a waterbed as a kid too, and it freaked me out. Like after seeing Jaws, I would like legitimately have nightmares because I would just be like rocking in this fucking water, like oh fuck.
Even pools for a while, like you jump into the deep end and have your eyes closed, and it's like someone tossed a shark in here. I know it. I can feel it.
Yeah. See, I feel like the things that scared me when I was younger, looking back, I'm like, why was I so like speaking of pools, you know, I grew up like I feel like I got into horror mostly through reading too, because I would read like Bunnicula when I was little, and I was like reading things before I was watching movies. So like I read The Exorcist, which somebody should have been watching me, I feel like, because that's not a book for children. Like way before I saw the movie, I don't know, I was like obsessed with it. And so then when I started watching stuff, it was like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Dead Man's Float episode with like the ghost in the pool. I had nightmares for years and years and years. And then another one, and then some stuff that wasn't even actually scary. Like again, some of the comedy ones, like there would just be scenes in it where like someone was a vampire and they were like floating outside your window, and that I would have nightmares that like a guy would be outside my window. I mean, I still have nightmares about that.
There's an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that like still like lives rent free in my brain, and it's like the only one I can distinctly remember, and they're in a mall that turns into like a pinball game or some shit. Because I remember a giant
like
pinball coming down like the fucking escalator.
Yeah, that one is really good. And then there's another one where this, and like again, so to be fair, I feel like a situation where I'm swimming in a pool and a ghost is down there that wants to eat me is like totally viable. But there's another one where, again, it has to do with water, where this guy was like a person who like stole from ships that sank, and he would like steal gold. And so whenever he fell asleep, the like zombie bodies of the people would like come out of the water to like come get their gold back, and then they would get like, he had alarm set, so he would like doze off, and then as soon as they like got to his door or whatever, the alarm would go off and he would wake up and they would have to go back into the water. I was absolutely terrified that that could happen to me for no reason. But
You
then
shouldn't have stolen all that gold.
I know, you know,
I mean,
I was a pretty strong swimmer. But to your point, Nathan, it's like I was so scared of it and I would have the nightmares, but I'm still like, I need, what else can I be afraid of? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, nothing good happens in the water. So like,
no.
Caitlin,
Yeah, I have a lot of water-based
Caitlin
fears.
and
I mean, have you seen Showgirls?
Oh yeah, the best movie with the most horrifying pool scene.
Some good things can happen in the water. I mean, look at that scene.
Yeah,
That's why it's...
the movie rules.
Don't you guys remember Swim Fan? Just kidding.
oh, yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah,
I used to have a crush on the dude in that movie. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I can't either. He was in like everything at that period too, and like
We literally just call him Swim Fan.
yeah, we just the movie is somehow became like an ongoing thing on this podcast. Jesse Bradford. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
there we go.
I made them do that. Was that like one of my first episodes? And I was like, yeah, we're gonna do Swim Fan.
Yeah, I think. Well, it was
I
like
don't know why.
it was one of the first ones when you like officially joined, as opposed to like
I love
a
it.
guest. Yeah, so big fans of Death Drop Gorgeous on this podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
What was kind of like the catalyst for wanting to, you know, like make a movie and kind of like the, you know, I guess meeting up with the whole crew that you work with?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm not a big like horror comedy guy, but like, Chris Delpy, one of the other creators who was Broadway Brian in the film, and I were just kind of, you know, fucking around and talking about like how the sex apps like Scruff and Grindr are just like literally just built for serial killers, and like you could, you know, people very easily lure people in. So we started talking. It was like a really drunk, just stupid conversation, and we brought it up to my friend Mike, the other creator who plays Officer O'Hara in it too. And he's like, well, let's just make it into a film. So like we first started making it, we wrote the screenplay. We kind of figured it'd be like some like trauma level S kind of horror film, like just camp horror kind of thing. Then as we started making it, like it was better than we thought it was going to be, like just quality wise, and just all the people that like we had acting in it were most of them are you know, actual drag queens in town, and like they did such a good job, and it's like it was our responsibility to like do them justice, the amount of free time and effort they put into it. We also just were kind of just fed up with like horror as a whole. Like I feel like the last like 5-6 years, horror just kind of tailspin out of control. It's not a lot of good stuff going on these days, especially in like queer horror too. Like I feel like a lot of like gay and queer horror is like pretty vapid, and it's the same like tired old tropes and jokes. We just kind of want to make our own and kind of just see what happens.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I think the Death Drop Gorgeous account on Instagram and then like the I Suffer account like mutually followed each other kind of like pretty early on as the movie was coming out. And
yeah.
Like y'all sent us like an email. It was like, oh, like, you know, if you guys want to watch it, whatever. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, for sure. Because like I kind of felt the same way, especially when it came to kind of like queer horror, where everything, especially like the big conversation the last couple like 2 weeks or whatever, has been like they/them and like,
oh Christ, yeah.
I went on my rant a couple episodes ago, so I don't have to do it again. But like, I felt like I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, I'll always kind of at least give a new queer horror movie a chance, because like I'm always hoping it'll be something along the lines of like what y'all did with Death Drop Gorgeous, or like Knife Plus Heart, which I like really enjoyed, or like something like good, like something that is like good, very kind of like queer based, and like, I don't know, not pandering. Yeah. And that's what like I really loved about Death Drop Gorgeous, is like it wears all of that shit like on its sleeve, and also introduced me to Complete Destruction, who is the best.
Amazing.
Well, it's funny because like the endings of our film and that film have some similar in a sense where like, you know, there's the option to like the enemies are coming from within your own community. Like a lot of the, like 4 out of the 6 villains in Day/Them are queer, and like, you know, it's just kind of like they become the villains in this film. Like ours, like, you know, we have our villains are all from within the community, but I just feel like the message that our movie sends versus that movie at the end is just very different. I don't know like spoil it for people. Like I can go off, but I don't want to like, you know, say
right.
too much.
I feel like Mikey had like a pretty good thread on Twitter about like the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, I really fucking hate this, but like maybe this is meant for like, you know, queer teenagers. Like maybe it's just for like your like 15, 16-year-old non-binary and trans people doing their thing. But as the movie progressed, I was like, I don't want any young trans or queer people watching this fucking shit. I was getting like increasingly angry. And then the end came, and I was like, oh my god, this is not it at all.
See, like I think the thing that I felt like it felt like, especially with Death, like, at least from like the outsider, non-creative perspective of it, is like I watched it and I was like, I never felt that it was like the whole like, you know, we have to be like the better person in this situation kind of thing with like not taking their vengeance out. It always felt more like the like it kind of felt like that horror trope a little bit of like, well, maybe there's a sequel coming in Death Drop Gorgeous a little bit, as opposed to like, you know, like I like that at the end of Death Drop Gorgeous, like it's just the like the two of them going on to their next like adventure or whatever, as opposed to like I don't know, like They/Them just felt very like, no, we have to always have like, we have to just be the better person in these situations, and it's like, no, fuck that, like kill that motherfucker.
It's kind of a new thing with horror and like even like kind of like in more like adult action films too, where it's like at the end it's like, who's really the monster here? It's all these like fucking anti-heroes. Like no one is like inherently evil anymore, and no one is like just getting blood on their hands and getting dirty. It's just like, I'm so tired of it. I want some gross, crazy, fucked up villains, and I don't know, we don't get that anymore. Now it's like the protagonists are like, even like Halloween Kills, that scene where it's like that dude jumps off the hospital they think is Michael Myers and looks like Danny DeVito from the fucking Batman 2. And they're like, oh, maybe we're the monsters here. And it's like, okay, Michael Myers killed like an entire like crew of firefighters and like 20 teenagers, but we're gonna contemplate like maybe we're, you know, we're the monsters. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I feel like anymore you really have to like, it's just, that's just kind of like my big issue with a lot of like the American made like horror in the last couple years, and like, which is kind of why, I don't know, the last like 2 years specifically, I've been my viewing habits have been very 70s and 80s or like outside of the US when it comes to horror, because I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know, especially like I won't go on this rant, but I can't fucking stand Blumhouse and like almost anything they put out. So like, I always give them a chance. I'm not giving them money. I do that shit illegally because fuck you, Jason Blum. But like, you know, yeah. I give them a shot. I can't. It's not like just hating for hating. I can't stand them. And like, I think there's like this big thing where like, I don't know, especially like the really big production kind of horror stuff in the US is just not good lately. Like there's like A24 I can at least get behind, because I'm like, okay, at least visually I can watch these and be like, okay, like I don't like The Witch, but The Witch is shot great, so like I can visually appreciate it while not liking the story. But like,
yeah, so
like I could deal with A24. It's just like the Blumhouse type shit for me is the one where I'm just like, I fucking hate this, and I wish people would stop fucking talking about how much they love all of it.
Yeah. Well, it's like this weird thing now where we can't criticize any of these remakes or franchises. Like it's these blessed holy films we can't say anything bad about or criticize, and then we like the fans are just like so ravenous about like protecting Halloween Kills, and it's like it is not a good movie. Or you can say you had fun with it and be like, no, it's actually really fun. It's stupid. But people that are just acting like it's like the scripture right now of like horror, it's really not. It's fucking terrible. And I blame the fans more for their like fighting for these films, which is just so baffling to me. It's like it's actually kind of like disrespectful to the franchise, but like, you know, and people can like what the fuck they want, but it's not good.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I think we had the conversation when like Malignant came out, where like I was like, I hate this, but at least it was like relatively different than like the other shit that seems to be coming out now. Like I was at least there was stuff in this that I was like, all right, well, I definitely didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I love Malignant because it feels like a prank on Warner Brothers. Like, they gave James Wan money to just like make whatever, and he's like, I'm just gonna do the most absurd shit, and it ruled. I was so into it.
Well, it was also one of those things that at first I was like, you know what? Like, I was like, this isn't for me. But I was like, props for doing like an original proper. You know, it wasn't like an intellectual property fucking franchise thing and all that. And then like, I don't know, a couple months later, they're like, maybe Malignant 2. And I was like, God damn it. Like, just let something be its own thing and like move on.
No, it's time for the MCU, the Malignant Cinematic Universe.
They're already talking about doing the Black Phone or whatever too, and I was like, why?
If
let it go.
If Blumhouse
Leave
puts
it
something
alone.
out, you're getting a sequel. Like, I'm shocked there wasn't immediately like an Invisible Man sequel somehow.
Well, yeah. I honestly,
I surprisingly didn't mind that one.
That's the only one that
I really liked that one, but I don't feel like it needs a sequel.
No,
I haven't seen it yet, but like, it was the one that they put out that I was like, okay, this sounds at least interesting, and like I kind of like the idea of the take on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess we could.
I didn't mind that one at all. I actually thought it was pretty good. I was shocked. I have zero expectations for horror movies these days. It just makes it better for everyone around me when we go to these films. And I actually like that one. I saw it at the drive-in. It was like a double feature with The Nun, which was, oh my god, yeah. The Invisible Man was actually pretty good. I liked it.
That was one of my favorites surprisingly of the year, whatever year that was.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was like at like the beginning of the pandemic or some shit, or.
Yeah. To be fair, I haven't rewatched it though, so I don't know if it was like I don't know. For me, I feel like it's got to be. Sometimes you are just in the mind. You just like sit down and you watch something, and you're just like really right there, and you connect with it, and you're like, "This is fucking amazing." It gave me chills. Like, but then other times, you know, you watch something that you think you'll love, and it's just like, yeah, it's probably fine, but I just wasn't feeling it. And for whatever reason, it was like perfect. That like stands out to me as one of the best like viewing like maybe not the best, the most like memorable viewing experience for me in the past like couple of years, because I feel like you're saying, everything that I try and watch, I'm like, well, I should like this, but I don't know why I just like really don't or whatever. I liked Underwater too. That wasn't, you know.
Oh yeah, I liked Underwater too, but if you have a giant fucking, you put something underwater and put like a giant ass fucking creature in it, I'm probably gonna be on board, even if it sucks. But I'm at least in. Like, we'll get to it when we talk about shit we watched this week. But I watched some absolute trash that I was like, I don't know, it was fine, I guess. It sucks, but like, there's some sharks in it. All right, we can stop hating on everything and jump into Phantom of the Mall.
Yeah.
You would go ahead and get into it, Katie.
I mean, I didn't really take notes like I normally do, but
that's fine.
I did write down all of the kills, if you will indulge me, because I feel like
they're all incredible.
They get progressively. This is like part of what made this movie wacky to me. So first of all, this movie is called Phantom of the Mall. As I've said in the past, I am not a fan of the musical, but I do, for whatever reason, love Phantom of the Opera. It was like the first show I saw on Broadway.
So we have Phantom of the Opera and Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark are the two musicals we are aware that you enjoy.
The classics.
The two classics, yes. I love it. Whenever that one song plays, I chills. I love it.
We have to do Dario Argento's Phantom of the Opera on here.
Let's
because
do it.
It's
oh my God,
fucking terrible, and I want to hear your reaction to it so bad.
Okay.
With Julian Sands.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That and fucking Dracula 3D are like two of the worst movies I think I've ever seen, and I don't know how Dario Argento did both of them.
Sometimes you just want to get wacky. So yeah, and I also am like, for some reason, I love parodies of stuff. So like, I am not like, I know about Star Wars, obviously. Star Wars is fine. I love a Star Wars parody. I don't know why. I love it. Like anything. So when I saw Phantom of the Mall, I was like, okay, Phantom of the Opera, of course. Yeah, okay, Phantom of the Mall. I don't know who was laying in bed at night and was like, I love Phantom of the Opera and I love malls, and I'm going to put them together. And then it goes on to say Eric's Revenge. And I'm like, okay, well, of course, I need to figure out what happened to Eric. Because, like you said, you spend half of this movie. I, like, literally Googled it, like, mid-watching this because I was like,
who's Eric?
Who did I miss something? Like, is this a sequel? And, like, you do end up finding out what happened, but, like, it takes a while. And so basically this movie is about a new mall that's opened in this town that the mayor, which is, wow, why am I forgetting her name?
Morgan Fairchild.
There you go. Thank you. In the best pink pantsuit I've ever seen in my life. She is the mayor. And then, so they're like basically opening this mall that's supposed to, you know, as the old people say, revitalize the community and give jobs to people. And so like whatever. And so meanwhile, Eric is running around behind the scenes in the mall getting his revenge. And I have to say, there's a lot of different plots going on in this movie that don't really seem to have anything to do with anything. So, like, there's a subplot where the manager of the mall's, like, punk son is just, like, running around doing shenanigans for whatever reason. And then you have, like, the main plot, which is Eric, okay? And I will admit that this movie, like, the plot is so crazy to me because, like, essentially what happened, you find out, obviously, this is a spoiler part of it, that the site that they wanted to build the mall, people were living on it. And so they were trying to, like, offer them money to be like, hey, can you move because we want to put a mall here? And Eric and his family were the ones that were like, no, we want to stay in this house. So the manager of the mall hired a dude to burn the fucking house down with Eric inside.
The more things change, etc.
Yeah, so that they could build a mall. And so now Eric is loose inside the mall, and he's, like, living in there and just running around with, like, his Letterman jacket and, like, a Phantom of the Opera mask on, exacting his revenge, which, you know what, fair. They literally tried to burn him alive because they wanted people to shop at a Sam Goody. You know what I mean?
Look,
and
someone has to buy those $19 CDs.
Oh my god.
$80 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, back then when they were just hitting VHS for fucking like $90 a tape or some shit.
I was a Suncoast girl myself, but I bought CDs at Sam Goody, but
I forget.
Well,
like,
I mean, I wasn't buying stuff in '89. I was 2, so
the local mall in Ohio, we had a Sam Goody, and then we had some other music store that I don't remember, and Sam Goody was the shitty one.
Coconut?
No, it was like...
Was it Virgin Records? We had Virgin Records.
No,
I would always go to.
I don't think it was like... I think it was like, I don't want to say mom and pop, but I don't think it was a chain. But it was in, it had like way more of a selection where like Sam Goody would have like, you know, at the time I could very specifically remember like the listening kiosk that had like Marilyn Manson in it. That's like the time period I can remember it. And like, you know, that was like the extent of underground music they had. But the other one would have like, you know, fucking like all kinds of like early hardcore records and shit like that. Like that's the one I remember going to a lot. But I'd still remember them both being like, "Oh, you want the CD? $18.99." And I was like, "Fuck this, no way."
Yeah.
I'll wait for Napster to start.
The thing I do remember at least is that they didn't care the employees were like teenagers, so they would like let you buy the like what is it? What is the rating on it where it's like explicit content,
parental advisory?
Yeah, and they'd just be like, "Here you go, 12-year-old. Here's some M&M or whatever." I don't know.
They don't pay them enough to.
Oh my God!
Pay attention to that.
My first job when I was 15 was at a skate shop in the mall, and they were like, I could remember selling like just like hats with fucking pot leaves or fucking whatever to like 12-year-olds and shit. Be like, I don't give a shit. I'm getting paid under the table. I don't care about any of this.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a 401k. Who cares?
I was like, I don't have a fucking bank account. I don't know why I'm here. One day my dad just said he got me a job, so I'm here.
Great.
Take my paycheck and walk over to the FYE and buy Calculating Infinity the day it came out.
I'm not gonna lie. So I think part of the charm to this movie too is, again, like you said, it does take place in a mall, which I feel like for our generation is so like it. I don't even think there's a mall that I could physically go to where I live now that has anything in it that's not like a church or something now. But like that was like such a part.
I just
it's
had
like
this
an abandoned mall.
Church mall.
I just had this image of every storefront's a different church in the mall by you. Like
it could be. It's the food court and churches.
There's a fuck ton of malls by us, like including one that they built like a fucking ski slope into.
Wow.
So you could like indoor ski
they
in the fucking summer, I guess.
Yeah.
Malls are weird
that
now.
Mall that has like it's like
Malls
you either have no mall
apparently.
or you have a mall that has like a fucking roller coaster in it, essentially. But like growing up, that was like the place to be, and I appreciate the nostalgia behind that, and I really wanted them to look in that KB Toys, but they didn't. So anyway, they're at a mall, and it like follows a main character who just gets a job at the mall, and she's friends with Pauly Shore, who is like always putting eyeballs and stuff in people's ice cream or frozen yogurt or whatever the fuck it is. And her presumed dead boyfriend Eric is literally stalking her in the vents of the mall and protecting her from random men attacking her in the parking lot and whatnot. And so Eric is just getting revenge on anybody, even if they didn't really have anything to do with, burning his house down. But I will say, like, compared to a lot of the movies that we do, he kills a lot of people. And they get nothing could have prepared me for the way that this progresses. Because in the very beginning of the movie, the first thing we see is Eric, like, stealing supplies or whatever, and he stabs a guard. So, like, that's pretty normal, right?
Sure.
The next, I mean, that's like typical.
Everybody goes to the mall gets. Well, I guess lately, probably.
Listen, yeah. Also, I don't know how far spread news this was, but that the mall that I worked at when I was a teen. I wasn't a teen. I was like a young adult or whatever. We had a butt slasher. And I'm not kidding.
I don't know what that means, but I'll probably also don't want to.
There was a man going around to the stores and slashing women's butts with a box cutter.
What the fuck?
He was called the butt slasher, and it was like on the news and everything in Northern Virginia, where I am from. And it was pretty scary because I don't know about you, but I don't really want my butt slashed by a random customer. So,
it
happens.
Doesn't sound particularly great.
No. Okay, so stabs the guard. The next thing that he does is puts a maintenance worker's face into a vent fan.
Banger.
Also pretty, pretty normal. Use what you got. The next one is that a security guard goes to check on some like noises in the vents. Also, one of the things that strikes me about this movie is that the vents in this mall are like full-sized person vents.
Yeah. Spaceship vents.
running around like it's a hallway, and I'm like, there's no way.
That's my
like skateboarding through them.
My favorite thing in movies is like when there's a vent that like for some reason could just like fit like 3 people in it.
Yeah, just like running around like I don't know what he thinks he is. But so a guard goes to like check on the noises that are happening, and Eric drives a forklift into him and then to a breaker so that the guy is electrocuted and his eyeball pops out.
Like that safety training video.
Yeah.
They'd show people the forklift driving through the wall.
Literally, yeah. The next is my personal favorite. So for some reason, there is this man in the food court who is playing the piano for people. And he decides at night that he's going to attack Eric's girlfriend in the parking lot. And Eric's able to save her by shooting him with an arrow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then the next day, he's at work, and he's like, oh, I have to take a break. He goes to the bathroom and takes off his jacket. His arrow wound is literally pouring blood.
I like the idea that he got shot with an arrow and went back to work the next day.
And also, like, didn't treat it at all. Couldn't hazard a Band-Aid. It's literally, like, gushing all over his shirt.
I will use any excuse to be like, oh, workman's comp, please.
Literally.
Don't make me work. If I got shot with an arrow, there's no fucking way I'd be at work.
So he goes to go to the bathroom, and Eric puts a cobra in the pipe to the toilet, and then the snake comes out of the toilet, which I'm not kidding you is like a legit fear of mine, that there's just going to be a snake that pops out. So like, this is really scary.
You're in Florida. You need to be more concerned about fucking alligators coming out of your toilet.
Have you seen Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
Oh, yeah. Hard Ticket to Hawaii rocks.
That's a great toilet snake coming out of a toilet scene, too.
That should be in every movie.
Why? Where did he... okay. Is there... I guess there's a pet store selling cobras, but, like, why is that your...
Yeah, the malls were the Wild West in the 80s, Katie. It was basically a shopping mall in the 80s was just like the black market. You could get anything you wanted.
You could get like a tiger probably.
Toilet snake, here you go.
That poor snake didn't deserve coming out of that guy's dookie toilet. Anyway,
he was in his element.
That was by far my favorite because I could not believe my eyes. I was like, who wrote it? I don't know. Okay, so the next one is the mayor's like punk adult son who's like slumming around the mall, starts hitting on like his girlfriend's friend or something, and he like can't abide by that. I love that he's literally a stalker. He is literally a stalker, but he is like mad at the audacity of the other people like in the mall, and every time he's like watching something happening, it like shows his fist and he's like oh he's like and it's just like the greatest. I love it.
Like Arthur.
Yeah, literally.
Closed fist.
And the heavy breathing. So he decides he's gonna get revenge. This might be my second favorite. Because basically what happens is that Eric lures the punk guy with a skateboard. He puts a skateboard on the floor, and he just can't resist doing tricks. So he's down there doing tricks, right, on the skateboard. And then Eric lassos him, puts the lasso rope into an escalator, and so he's like pulled up into an escalator, and it breaks his neck. I also distinctly remember having a fear that I was going to get like sucked into the escalator. When I was younger.
So my dad is an elevator and like, escalator, like repairman, like my entire life. That's what his job has been. And like, I've heard stories of like kids getting sucked into like a shoelace or some shit, getting sucked into an escalator and shit like that. It sounds not great.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well. Yep.
I've seen Terra
So,
Firma. I know what that shit'll do to you.
Okay, so the next one is seemingly normal again, except for, like, basically, in the background of this movie, there's, like, this side plot where the manager of the mall has hired this guy with an earring to, torch the house. And once the manager starts getting bodies dropped on his desk, and he also doesn't seem very alarmed. Like, a dude literally falls out of an air vent onto his desk, and he's just like, oh.
That happens.
Not again.
Okay. Yeah, calls the guy and is like, I need your help. And so the guy comes to pretend to be like a security guard or whatever, but the reporter, the main character reporter, and like Eric's girlfriend have like put together basically what happened. So they're like onto this guy's trail or whatever. And so the security guard like accosts them essentially. There's like a crazy car chase, of course. And then it ends with them like grappling in front of what is it called? Like a compactor. And so like the security guard like gets his head down in the compactor. And so like the crazy thing about this isn't like the compactor, but it's that Eric can literally just like put his hands, like I get he is like lifting weights and shit, but he was lifting like 10-pound weights. Okay. Even I can do that. But he like is able to just like deadlift the compressor like door up and then like roll over and then put the other guy's head under there and it like decapitates him. So that to me is wacky because I don't think so.
I just love
He's fueled by revenge.
I just love like the beginning of that scene. You just see this like giant compactor and you're like, well, that got shown for a reason.
Oh yeah.
That's coming into play.
Yeah. And then there's only two more, but they're both great.
The last one's
so
my
essentially, okay, basically like towards the end, Eric, confronts his girlfriend and is like, "I'm still alive." Also, what is going on with his voice? He's got like a weird like echoey.
He's like a robot. He's
like, look what they did to me. Like, I can't do it, obviously, but it's like wild.
Smoke inhalation from his house on fire fucked up his voice.
Oh, okay. True.
Oh, yeah.
He sounds like Smoke. That makes sense.
This is the prequel to Mortal Kombat Smoke.
Yeah.
Love it.
He does sound like him. That makes sense. This is canon.
You know what? They should 100% put him in a fighting game as a character. That would be great.
No,
he could like throw a snake.
They're doing a
They've
Mortal...
had Leatherface and Alien and shit. So like, why not?
Darth Vader?
Have Eric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're doing...
Eric is the fan of them all.
They're doing the Mortal Kombat sequel. So like, put this actor in there with Smoke. But like,
get him in there.
Don't give him the Smoke costume. Just make him this Phantom character in the movie, and just no explanation. Just start calling him Smoke.
Give him his mall outfit. I want it.
So
Eric
arts game with the broomstick too.
Yeah.
Practicing in the vent.
My favorite thing about his martial arts is that like, okay, so Eric basically like goes to his girlfriend and is like, hey, I'm alive. Also, do you want to live underneath the mall with me? And she's like, no.
Romantic.
That's fucking terrible. I would have been like, hell yeah, I do. Free rent?
I mean,
like, fuck yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And he's also like stolen dresses for you. So of course he freaks out and he's like, why? Is it because of him? And he's like, the reporter guy. And she's just like, things are different now. And I was like, yeah. And so of course he gets mad and he's like shaking her and stuff. And she ends up escaping. And so he decides that the only course of action is to blow up the mall. So
makes sense.
Yeah, so the reporter and her go to the mayor and are like, and the mayor, like, they're, roughed up. And the mayor's like, what happened to you? And she's like, long story. But by the way, there's a bomb, so we need to evacuate the mall. And of course the mayor pulls a, like, Jaws situation where she, like, pulls out a gun and she's like, I will not have my mall party ruined.
It's our most important mall weekend of the year.
literally. And so she's like, you need to turn around and get lost, essentially. And they're just like, whatever. So then, they're like talking to her in the office about the bomb, and she doesn't believe them. Eric jumps down through the air duct and punches the other guy out, of course, and then picks up Morgan Fairchild and throws her out a window.
Hell yeah.
Like, into the mall, and she is impaled on a model of the mall. Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. That's good writing, is what that is.
It really is. And I love that they showed her body just like falling from, it just was great. No cutaways. And then the last kill is that Eric confronts the mall manager, and he, kills him by flamethrower explosion.
It's incredible. Like, I my favorite thing is that he just happens to be standing in front of a giant wall of tanks that say propane on them.
Yeah.
Just very convenient placing.
Yeah, and
apparently also, like, the shot of, like, the explosion where, like, the mayor goes, like, falling over, jumping over the ledge, like, on fire or whatever, was, like, at least one of those shots the director did the stunt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's like, let me do this one. I got it.
Yeah.
I want to be on
Check
fire.
this out.
That looks fun.
So the guy that laid on fire, the mall manager, is the guy from those Heineken ads, like, most interesting man in the world, like,
that
the
was,
hot old bearded dude.
Oh,
that was one of the things that he talked about.
He looked familiar
in the commentary, because it was the same thing, and I was like, because I was watching it, I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? And that's what they kept referring to him as, the most interesting man in the world or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit.
You're
That's
like, wow,
amazing.
they're really into this guy. That is crazy.
The cast
between
of this...
that,
oh, God,
I say between that and Mac's dad from It's Always Sunny being in it.
The cast in this movie is pretty ridiculous. Like,
every 5 minutes, someone pops up and it's like, hey,
there's Ken
you know that
Foray.
person?
Ken Foray is one of the security guards somehow. I guess if you do a mall movie, you have to have Ken Foray in it.
It's a rule, yeah.
He was the Eric of that mall. He just lived there.
Well,
they're filming movies, and he's like, hey, you know the price. I'm like, all right.
There's even shit
Get
where,
in, Ken.
like Brink Stevens is in this, just like as just a random person in the mall. And like she's in fucking like everything. She's got like 226 movies to her credits at this point. And it's just in the classic Death House kit.
Oh, yeah.
God.
It's fucking terrible. She's in Replicator. That movie rocks.
Oh. Amazing.
No, she's like
how...
a B movie like icon. She's in fucking just insane amount of movies now. Somehow she was just like in this as just like a casual person strolling through the mall or some shit.
I love that. I love how the guy who plays like the reporter is also in another mall movie that was, of course now my like thing is not loading, but it was called like, shoot.
Who was it?
Well, it's not loading. Rob Estes.
Yeah.
He's in another like mall movie.
Oh,
and I was like, wow, he really.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, with mall in the title. Yeah.
Oh, he's in Shopping Mall too, I think.
Oh, it's called Terror at
both.
the Mall. He might be. He might.
He's in
have
a mall
thing
trilogy.
Yeah. Terror at the Mall. He looks like he might be the Terror though, so he's really flipped the switch after this one.
One of the people from this movie is in Shopping Mall too, and I can't remember who it was.
That would make sense to me. I feel like this movie has enough people in this cast that I'm not shocked that one of these people didn't end up
someone's in Shopping Mall.
Yeah. But
Did it bother anyone else though that Eric's name was Eric Matthews?
Yes, absolutely.
like-
The first time I heard it, I was like, what?
Boy Meets World here? Wow. I
Boy
hate
Meets
people.
World took that from Phantom of the Mall.
That's right. It must have. It's an homage. It all
Just
lines
like
up now.
just like Harry Potter was stolen from Troll.
Yeah.
The only Harry Potter.
Is Harry Potter a name in Troll?
Yes,
Yep.
the main
I
kid.
don't think I've seen Troll in so long that I don't remember really anything about it.
Troll fucking rules. We have to do Troll
Yeah, it's a
at some
good one.
point.
Yeah, we just can't do Troll 2. That's the one I always refuse. Because from like the minute we started the podcast, everyone was like, "What do you do in Troll 2?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, never."
Never.
Yeah, because it's always that in the room, and I'm like, I'm not doing either of these.
No.
We did Lichen Colony. Why would I ever go backwards? One of my favorite things in this entire movie is Pauly Shore in a sweater. Because it looks fucking so weird.
I love
He's
his
got
like
range.
his 80s blue and white sweater that he wears. Like maybe it's towards the end. I was like, that looks so comfortable. I want it.
I also like the beginning where they're just casually just hanging out watching Eric do gymnastics for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I know when I'm practicing my gymnastics, I like to have all of my friends there watching me. Very strange.
Yeah, I love how he just like lived underneath the mall and did like martial arts and stuff. And then like for the rest of the movie, I'm like, why is he training so hard? Anybody that he kills is like not going to be able to do martial arts to him. And then he just like wrecks that reporter guy at the end. But I loved how it was like whoever the person was that I'm assuming was his stunt double that was actually doing the martial arts was like always in shadow, and it just looked like incredible.
I also love the other security guard with Kid Foray that is like just looks like the absolute like scummiest person you have ever seen in a movie. The guy that they follow to like Sam Goody to like take the picture of or whatever just looks like the
earring guy?
Yeah, that you cast in like every fucking like Married with Children type TV show to just be like the ultimate like scumbag.
That's Mac's dad, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He kind of had a little bit of like a Steve Buscemi thing going on.
That's rude. How dare you? Yeah, I don't.
Whatever.
This movie rules. I don't know if anybody's got anything else they want to throw out there about it.
That's definitely a fun one. It's got it all.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's definitely like I feel like it's just obvious, but like a perfect triple or a double feature with Chopping Mall. Like it. If you like, I feel like if you like Chopping Mall, you would probably fucking love this if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I actually probably think I like this more than Chopping Mall.
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I mean, Chopping Mall's got Barbara Crampton, which is always a plus.
Yeah.
And you get a pretty sick head explosion from a laser in it. But like, this one's got like I feel like more fun kills than Chopping Mall, or at least like more outside of the box, kind of like goofy ones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's got Pauly Shore. Can't go wrong.
2 words. Toilet Cobra.
Yeah.
We had a guy in Providence here who lived in our mall for like 4 years. It was like some weird artist dude.
Like unknown, like was doing it as like an art thing, or just happened to be doing it. Someone found out like 4 years in.
He was doing it as an art thing. It was he lived there for 4 years in some secret room that he found. Our very own like Eric.
I remember seeing
That's incredible.
Seeing Dawn of the Dead as like, I don't know, a 10 or 11-year-old and being like, this seems so cool. I would love to live in the mall. I could eat fucking
have Sbarro pizza
Sbarro
every day,
or like whatever the generic but somehow all the same and different like Chinese place in the mall food court.
Yeah.
Panda Express.
Yeah, like
yeah.
that's still my dream. I still want to live in the mall.
Yeah.
Can you play
now that I
piano?
think about it.
Not the church mall, though. All you have is wafers then.
That, you know what? That makes sense for Florida, though. I see it.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. This movie rules. Go watch it if you have Shudder or Arrow. If you have Arrow, watch, like, the bonus shit. Also...
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Always got to shout out any movie that has its own theme song during the credits, as this one does.
Oh, yeah.
By the Vandals.
Amazing.
Despite the R slur being in the chorus.
A lot of R word.
Still, gotta shout out any movie that has a its own theme song.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
I mean, they're always good, but you know, good is a subjective term, I guess. I'm always here for it.
Yeah, I don't think anything will beat No Mercy for me, though.
Oh, man.
That I will never forget it.
Brandon,
I forgot we watched No Mercy.
We tried to do a month of gnome horror movies, and I think we did 2 and stopped. I actually think it was like we did 2 and then
we just couldn't find any more streaming anywhere.
I think we had at least one more, but it was like when the George Floyd stuff happened, and we gotta do something like fun instead
Not
of like
terrible.
shitty.
Yeah.
But we did this movie called No Mercy, GNOME Mercy, that ended with like the absolute shittiest death metal gnome theme song that like you could ever imagine. It fucking ruled. That movie was terrible.
No, it was so great. There were so many gnome puns. I think about it all the time.
I don't know how you liked that over the fucking Vern Troyer gnome movie we did. That movie.
That one was so gross. I don't know.
He disemboweled a cop. You got to see Vern Troyer kill a cop, and it rocked.
I mean, that was cool, but
all right, and
I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like a thumbs up from everybody on Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's fuck news. The only news story I saw was John Carpenter being like, "Yeah, they're probably gonna make more Halloweens," which, like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't care as long as he gets paid.
I mean,
Exactly.
he's a king. I get it. Him being like, "Why would I direct movies when they could just throw money at me for sitting around playing NBA 2K?"
Yeah.
He's like, I fucking hope they make more Halloween movies.
Oh yeah.
And he needs to buy the newest version of NBA every year, okay? It's fine.
I hate
games are expensive now.
I hate that they keep making these movies, but I love that John Carpenter's like, I don't fucking care. They're giving me free money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
He
fucking
earned it.
king.
I love the trajectory of his tweets. Like when the other Halloween remake was coming out, he was talking about how upset and annoyed he was. And then, like, literally, like, a few months later, he's like, "Oh, scariest Halloween yet," or whatever the fuck he says. But you know, this hand him a giant check for, like, God knows so much money.
Yeah.
At least the one thing I can say is at least his scores for these new ones are still great.
So good.
Yeah.
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 All right. What everybody watch this week? Katie, what'd you watch?
I unfortunately did not really watch anything.
All right. That was quick.
So, yep.
Kit?
Let's see. I watched a few things. I had Shark Side of the Moon, the Tubi original.
I watched that too.
It was really stupid and not exactly good, but there was enough stuff in it that I chuckled and enjoyed it.
The end with the woman giving birth to a baby shark man, incredible.
That was really good, and the very beginning where it's like a whole bunch of sharkmen like running after the dude, and does the overhead shot of all of them running very awkwardly. Fantastic.
The sharkmen look great. You know, the CGI sucks, but like they look cool. That's probably like the best part of the movie.
Yes. That was basically all I wanted was cool looking shark dudes, and it delivered, so recommended. Fantastic. I watched Dead Space, Bryan Cranston alien knockoff.
Oh,
Also also pretty solid. We should go back to just doing like $100,000 Alien knockoffs.
I'm in. I'm always on board for
we
shitty Alien
we need
rip-offs.
them desperately.
Extra
Then
is a good one for that.
oh my god, yes. Every extra, really.
Yeah.
Watched Death Warmed Up, and then I had a completely different change of pace and watched Midnight Run, the De Niro Charles Grodin buddy cop movie. And then I started the Three Colors trilogy, which was so depressing. So I'm gonna go back to watching Alien knockoffs. I'm not sad.
Brandon, what have you been watching lately?
I watched a lot of stuff last week. So I was watching a lot of like found horror stuff or found footage stuff. My boyfriend was watching some movie called Horror in the High Desert when he was visiting his parents, and said it was actually like pretty scary. So I checked that one out. It's pretty good. It's like a Lake Mungo kind of like fake documentary about some found footage, and it's pretty creepy at them. They did a great job with it. But that led me down a wormhole of a bunch of really bad found footage that were painful.
That's not hard to do.
Haunting. No, and I avoid this shit like the plague. There was one called 21 Days, had its moments, never really worked. I watched Hunting on Fraternity Row. I was hoping to be a bunch of hot boys in it. There's not. It was just garbage. And it's not really found footage. There's a lot of scenes where it's like, who the fuck is holding the camera right now? This doesn't even make sense. So it was like in and out of that. And I rewatched one I had from a long time ago on VHS called the St. Francisville Experiment. I remember really liking it. It's like a Blair Witch Project kind of ripoff, but they're in like Madame Laveau's house in New Orleans, and it's actually like pretty creepy and pretty good. People hated it across the board. Like if you go on Letterboxd, it's like it gets destroyed. But no joke, it has like one of the scariest scenes in a movie that I've ever seen. But rewatching that was kind of fun. I think it's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
Check that one out.
And then I watched another one called The Clairvoyant. I think it was on Tubi. That was not good. It was painfully boring.
I love Tubi, but I think the phrase of "I watched this on Tubi and it was not good" is extremely common.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what this podcast is. It's like, we watched this on Tubi. It's terrible.
Yeah.
God bless Tubi.
Yeah, it's the best.
Honestly.
Oh, I love it.
Let's see. I rewatched Amsterdam. Still rocks. That boat chase scene is still incredible. I rewatched Night of the Lepus.
Hell yeah.
Still love that movie, even though it's terrible. I then watched a bunch of Nick Cave live movies and shit at work. And then I was like, I got on Tubi and I added every shark movie they have on there to my watch list. So I watched Shark Side of the Moon, like Kit said. It's.
Oh wait, come back to me when you're done, because I did watch something that I want to talk about.
Like Shark Side of the Moon is totally fine. So far, it's the best Tubi original I think I've watched.
Low bar.
Yeah, but it's
lowest bar.
I mean, it's like
we'll see next week.
It's Tubi and an Asylum movie, so it's like it's not going to be good, but like it's
the best Asylum movie
for sure.
I think,
at least that I can think of off the top of my head. But and then for some reason I was like, all right, I gotta knock these fucking Mark Polonia shark movies out early so I can watch the rest of these and have a good time. So I watched Shark Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh no.
It's maybe the best Polonia movie I've seen, and that's not really saying much. Like it at least had some sharks and aliens in it, and it's like some really fucking dumb like mobster type dudes trying to find treasure in the ocean. But the rest of it kind of sucked. And then I watched Amityville Island, which has a shark on the cover and no shark in the movie. And it was just a shitty Amityville rip-off movie, so that made me extremely mad. And then I watched Revenge in the Forest of the Dead Sharks, which is a 50-minute Russian movie that is like a found footage movie of a guy wandering through this forest with a stick he is pretending is a gun. All of the sharks are literally cartoon drawings that just like come onto the screen and like float around, but without actually like animation. It's just the drawing moving across the screen, and he'll like shoot.
Oh, yes.
He shoots at him with this stick, which then has a big cartoon like essentially just bang that goes across the screen. It's terrible, and I loved it. Like, I was like, I don't know what this is gonna be, but I'm gonna watch this. And like the minute a shark popped up and it was just a cartoon drawing of a shark that just came on the screen, I was like, this is incredible. What a choice.
Should do a doubleheader with post-apocalyptic Commando Shark.
Well, there's a movie that I guess was before it, just called Forest of the Dead Sharks, that I didn't realize till I'd watched that one, so I gotta go back and watch that. This director did that. He did a movie called Jaws 19. What is this one? I can't read this, it's all in Russian, but it's something Shark Attack. He did a movie called Megalodon. Like, he's just got all these, like, Sharks versus Metro, which just has a cover of a CGI shark eating a train on the cover.
Amazing.
Like, I gotta watch all of them. I think they're all on YouTube. Like, whatever his production company's just got all of his movies on there. They all look so bad, and I have to watch them. His name is just Sergey A. on Letterboxd, so I have no idea what his last name is.
Fuck yeah.
But based on Revenge in the Forest of the Dead Sharks, I'm in. Katie, what was the thing you watched?
Oh, so as you know,
are you gonna talk about fucking Zach Baggins?
Yeah.
God damn it.
So I kind of like I don't think I was watching the new season of Harley Quinn, but I don't know if it was either just a short season or if like the whole thing wasn't out, because it was only like 6 episodes. So then I started like on my ghost bullshit again, and I was just like watching, you know, like random stuff on Discovery Plus, and then I saw that they had Ghost Adventures Horror at Joe Exotic Zoo, which it was like a special. It was their Halloween special. And I have to say, wildly inappropriate episode, as you can expect from Zach Baggins, I think. But the main focus of the show was like trying to contact the spirit of that guy that like accidentally shot himself, and I felt that it was very inappropriate, like the way that they handled everything. But at the beginning, I don't know. It's just like there's wild they just like went in there. This is like Zach Baggins that is Zach Bagginist or whatever, because there's just like wild speculation. He like shows up there with like whoever, I don't remember any of these people's names. It's like whoever owned the like separate tiger farm that like Joe will like put him as like the executor when he went to prison or whatever, and so like now he owns it, and they're like, oh, this place is really haunted, blah blah blah. They're talking about there's like people buried on there, and they bring in cadaver dogs and all this stuff, and it was like just insane. But like one of the opening shots, I snapped it to Nathan because I was like, what am I watching? Because you know Zach Baggins' whole thing is that like he's totally serious and everything that's going on is totally real, guys. They go into his Joe Exotic's like abandoned house, and he opens a drawer, and Zach is like, what is that? Is that a penis pump? And he like takes it out, and he's like holding it and stuff, and he's like, ew, why did I touch? And I was just like, what in the fuck? Who told him that this was a good thing to do? Like, it was probably one of the trashiest things I've ever watched. I just got
a snap that just said like it was just a
no warning,
something from like a ghost show that I assumed was Ghost Adventures or whatever his show is, that was like, is that a penis pump? And I was like, what are you watching? And then he just like picks up a penis pump he finds in the fucking wild
in like an abandoned house.
Fuck, he's a weirdo.
What? I don't know. I will have to say, like, I do like watching the regular show just because it's, like, sensational and stupid, you know? Like, some people watch 90 Day Fiancé. I watch Ghost Adventures. But that, I felt the whole thing. Any of the specials they did one that was about Elisa Lamb and the Cecil Hotel, I also felt was very inappropriate. Like, whenever it's dealing with something that happened, like, current or, you know, within, like, this decade or whatever, I feel like it's just inappropriate and they shouldn't be doing it. But I don't know. After I watched it, I was like, why am I like this? Why am I watching this? But that was like, and then I started watching this show about this family who like bought a haunted, abandoned town or something. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
All right. Shout outs, Katie.
Oh,
all right, Kit.
Heat 2.
Oh, so did you finish it yet?
Nah, I just started reading the other day, so I'm like 100-something pages in, but it's really good so far. I'm very surprised that it's really good so far.
Val Kilmer in it.
Nice.
Yep. Aww. He's like the main guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Weird. For some reason, I just assumed it was gonna follow like Pacino's.
So it's a sequel and a prequel, and it's going back and forth, and the bits that pick up immediately after Heat, it goes back and forth between Al Pacino and Val Kilmer, because Val Kilmer's the only guy on the crew that survived. Yeah. So like right now it's him trying to get the fuck out of there while Pacino's tracking him down. And then there are prequel bits that is kind of the whole crew with Robert De Niro, Neil McCauley, and like Tom Sizemore's character, them all running jobs in Chicago while Al Pacino's solving some other crimes. And it seems like they're kind of on a collision course, but we'll see. Huh. It's handled really interestingly so far.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Katie, did you think of something?
Yeah, Zapp's potato chips. They make like obviously potato chips, but they're like kettle cooked or whatever, and they do this whole line of New Orleans style ones, and they're my absolute favorite. And I tried a new one, and it is called Spicy Cajun Cross Haters, and they're so good. I love them all. Yeah.
Brandon, you have something you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, I've been listening to a lot of really good albums lately. The new Chat Pile, God's Country, is probably my favorite album of the year so far. It's really good. The new Sanagi is great. Some old school kind of like 90s, early 2000s screamo.
I just got a Sanagi shirt in the mail today, and I'm so stoked.
Yeah, they're great. The new Noel record is pretty insane. It's like kind of like like experimental grind. It's pretty wild. New Anxious Wave is great. Kind of like post-punky hardcore. The Psychic Graveyard USA Nail split that came out this year, definitely recommend. AJ Valentino from Oakland, California is making some fun, like, dark wave kind of dancey stuff. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've never listened to USA Nails, and I always want to, but I'm always like, this isn't going to sound like Blood Brothers, so I'm not going to, because I just want to assume it sounds like Blood Brothers.
It's really what they sound like. They're kind of like, just like really fast and heavy, weird, like noise rock, kind of like Tunic or Mets or Tongue Party, like that kind of stuff. Maybe not as like hectic as those bands, but like they get pretty wild too. This new one with the Split Psychic Graveyard, it's pretty noisy. It's probably the noisiest and most like violent stuff that they've done.
I need to listen to them because like a lot of people whose opinions I respect are always talking about them, but I'm always like, I know with that name being like a Blood Brothers reference that like I'm just going to be mad when it's not. Doesn't sound like the Blood Brothers.
Well, I interviewed those guys. So I write for I used to write more frequently for this blog called Bearded Gentleman Music, which are great. They do like all kinds of music and film and movies and stuff. And I interviewed USA Nails and Psychic Graveyard for that split and asked them about that. And so apparently it's not a Blood Brothers reference, but it's the name of just a nail parlor from the town that they're in.
Well, yeah. I'm just gonna keep pretending it's a Blood Brothers reference. Literally all I've listened to all week is 18 Visions for some reason.
That's a name I haven't heard in forever.
They did the thing that all of those bands are doing now, where they like re-record their classic album, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to see how bad this is, and it actually kind of rules. So then I just fell down like a rabbit hole where all I've been listening to is 18 Visions.
Oh wait, bands are re-recording their albums?
There's like a lot of bands that have like been, for like one reason or another, I think like some of them have done this sort of like Taylor Swift thing where they're like, well, we don't own the rights to this, so we're gonna do like a new version. Like, I know like the one that's like pops into mind just because Katie and I talk about how terrible it is all the time is like Census Fail re-recorded like their first EP and shit, and like there's been like a big thing with a lot of bands doing, if it's not like a full album, doing like, here's like an EP of like 20 years later what this would have sounded like kind of thing. And like, I don't know, 18 Visions did it with Vanity, and the first time I listened to it I was like, I don't know why this is necessary, and then I listened to it a couple more times and I was like, alright, this kind of rocks, I'm in. So
yeah.
So
Yeah,
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like they did some like interesting shit on it where there's like parts of the original recording where there'd be like this sort of like, I don't want to say like mellow part, but like a like a less heavy part that for some reason they did the opposite and they added like blast beats in the re-recorded version. I was like, this rules. And then somehow they just made like the breakdowns heavier, but I don't know. I'm into it. What were you gonna say, Katie?
I think, yeah, that's like definitely a thing right now, because I think that like Thursday and early November are like doing that also.
Well, Thursday's been releasing like they did I think a tour for whatever anniversary of War All the Time, and then now Full Collapse, so they just did like the full like live performance of it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's not they're not really like changing it in any way. It's just kind of like re-recording. But
it's, I think because like Furnace Fest is happening this year with just like a ridiculous lineup of every band that emo and hardcore kids were into 20 years ago. All of those bands are getting back together and being like, I don't know, we don't have new material, but we could record our classic album again. So it seems like that's just like a trend that's happening, and usually it's not great, but I don't know, I like the 18 Visions one, so that's my shout out.
Yeah.
Next week we're doing Titanic 666, a to-be original that is gonna be terrible. I'm not looking forward to. All right, Brandon, do you have anywhere you would like to send people and like plug anything you're working on?
For sure. So we're working on our new full-length St. Drogo. It's pretty much almost done. We have 3 special effects heavy scenes that we're working on right now. So we're still doing a little bit of fundraising for that. So if you go to our Indiegogo, if you go to Indiegogo and type in St. Drogo, it pops up.
Yeah, I'll put that.
Kind of a teaser trailer.
I'll put that in like the notes of the
oh, nice.
the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very excited.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate that. And there's like a little teaser trailer up there too. Trailer, we don't have anything like horror in there yet, because we just kind of filmed a lot of the fun stuff recently, and then like all the blood and gore we haven't really filmed yet. That's coming up in the next couple of months. So we'll probably be able to make like a more exciting trailer. But if you want to get an idea of like what it looks like, it's kind of like a weird supernatural thriller, folk horror. Very different than the last movie. This one's really not funny at all, but still be pretty fun.
Yeah, I definitely. I remember seeing like whenever you guys like first announced it that it was more like folk horror-y, and I was like, hell yeah, I am in. I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely excited for that.
Oh, thanks.
All right, if you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. We just released a bonus episode picked by one of our patrons on One Crazy Summer of Sam, and I'll always know what you did last summer. I'll always know what you did last summer. Not great.
Yeah, and I just saw that Anne Hetch passed away, which made me sad because I was talking, like I rewatched all the movies for that, and I was like, what a weird synchronicity. Very sad.
There's some pretty bonkers conspiracy theories from QAnon people about Anne Heche's death that really bummed me out.
Oh God.
Are you kidding? Oh my God.
I
no.
fell down a rabbit hole while sitting in the ER waiting room this week and was just like, I do not like humanity.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Apparently she was like shooting a movie where she plays like a cop going after like sex traffickers or something, so you know, I'm sure you could put the pieces together there.
Great. Yeah.
Jesus.
You can buy some merch at our Store Frontier shop. We gotta get Katie to make a shirt with the one dude in this movie skateboarding.
Nice.
Eric or
any of them, I don't care. I just know
the toilet cobra.
Yeah, the toilet cobra. Someone skateboarded in this movie, so now it has to happen.
All right, prepare yourself.
I don't know how it happened, but for some reason we fell down this thing where all of our shirts have somebody skateboarding on it as like an inside joke. So now it has to happen.
From like over a year ago, yeah, and now it's all skateboarding. I don't know.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kid at Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face, and you can join her Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, Nate Kate Movie Club. Brandon, this was fun. Thank you for coming on. We will. Well, good.
Thank you guys for having me on too. We love you guys, and we appreciate being on the show and all the support you guys are giving us too.
Yeah, go watch Death Drop Gorgeous, or more importantly, go buy the DVD, and you can listen to the audio commentary.
Yeah.
I now have the DVD and the VHS, so
I love it.
I'm a fan.
So sick.
The movie rules, and
nice.
I'm very stoked to see what y'all are doing with St. Drogo. So far, all the pictures, I'm very intrigued. I can't wait to see it. So,
thank you.
Yeah, we'll do this again if you're down. We'll find whenever we get to slugs, you are absolutely invited back.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! No, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's been on like my list of things to cover for a while, and I know Katie's gonna hate it. So, yeah, Katie's not a fan of the bug movies. So.
Oh, this was pretty gross
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to like spread those out a little bit, or else Katie's like, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore.
No more bugs.
All right. I hope you suffer, but why?
I hope you Eric's revenge, but why?